Your bad habits, Bobby.
Bad Marine Corps habit.
Uh, so shoot, I used to drink, but now I'm on like medication and stuff, so I don't drink anymore. I like to make music, and I don't know. As far as like unhealthy habits, I like to eat out a lot. As far as that goes, but I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. So
All right, well, we're gonna end this right now.
yeah,
You
Just
don't
kidding.
drink or smoke. What type?
yeah. I used to drink alcohol, but I kind of stopped. So
Well, that's not a bad thing.
yeah,
I haven't drank either since I was in the Marine Corps.
right.
I had to give that up. I used to break out in handcuffs.
Uh,
But
oh well.
I'm still here.
anyway, Bobby, you reached out to me in an email
Yeah,
about your HVAC business.
right.
Uh, I haven't had a real good chance because of the holidays to really reach back out to you and talk
Yeah.
to you. So I'd like to get a chance if you could kind of tell me where exactly you are at this moment with regards to your HVAC business, or I really don't know much about you, so I thought we'd go ahead and
Yeah.
record this like an interview so I could kind of document. Because here's the thing:
Mhm.
we can go back 6, 7 months from now, and we can look at Mel's video, or he could even watch it and see where he was at compared to where he's at today. And it's almost like we're making a biography here for you guys.
Right. Yeah.
So if you go ahead and you just tell us what you want me to know, or
So I started HVAC, I guess, in 2017. So I've only been doing this for 5+ or going on 5 years now. Uh, I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky. Um, I was working for a company for a couple years, for 4 years, and then I just recently left that company because uh, I had a higher paying job. If that makes any sense. Somebody offered me better pay, but I worked there until about this winter, and then he let me go. So before he let me go, like 3 months ago, I went ahead and got my master's, and I just did it just in case something happened. And when
what
something,
kind of masters?
my HVAC master's, you have to have a master's in the state of Kentucky in order to do HVAC. So it's a
So,
100.
so you were kind of working towards that
Yeah.
prior to, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it was more like a just in case something happens. But since that happened, I was like, okay, we might as well give it a shot, see what happens. I'm not working for this company anymore. I might as well just put it out there and see if I can get any work. And while I was doing that, I was doing Facebook ads, I was doing Google ads. I've been trying to look up every video or any content that I could consume that would tell me, how to get this started, and nothing was working as far as ads and all that stuff was going. And I saw you on YouTube, and I started watching your videos, and uh, I heard about the home warranty companies and how to sign up for them, and I was like, there's no way that this is going to work. And then today, out of the blue, I get a call, or I get an email saying that there's a job here in my state, like 16 minutes away from my house, that needed my help. So I went out there, and lo and behold, I'm about to make $400 on my first call. So, and for me, that's like almost a week's pay. I mean, from my
Cost of
first
living
job.
down there is a little bit different than.
Yeah, it's a little less. Like I was at my last job, I was making like $880 a week. That was before taxes. But at the job I was before that, I was probably bringing home about $300-400. So seeing that in one day was like amazing. Like I was ecstatic after.
So I mean, let's keep this in perspective. Let's say you're aggressive, and when I mean aggressive, like let's say, hey, you wanna do better than
Right.
average.
Right.
I mean, let's say you could get yourself to do 4 or 5 service calls a day like that for a week.
Yeah.
How does that change your financial picture?
I think it changes my life basically. Like I think it'd be awesome to, get the vehicles and stuff like that. I think it would change a lot. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to explain it.
So in your situation, if I understand you correctly,
Mhm.
and I'm always kind of like playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Let's say you ran 4 calls in a week and you
Right.
averaged 400.
Right.
Then let's say after expenses, it's 1,200.
Right.
You could probably run 4 calls and let's say 2 from back and forth, little accounting behind the scenes.
Right.
If it took you 2 days, is it worth it?
Yes. You're talking about making 14. How much you saying to make?
Well,
like
let's say
4?
you did 4 service calls.
Okay.
And let's say from the time you took the call to the time you ran the call, got there, got back, maybe got a part, came back, entered it into some kind of computer system or tablet, invoiced it. Let's say that whole process took you 2 whole days.
Right.
And let's say after expenses, maybe parts, let's say $500.
Right.
You netted 4 $400 calls, 1,600. It's 1,100 net for 2 days work.
Yeah.
And that's before you even really getting busy, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
So
like I didn't know how, like, I didn't even know how possible it was until today. Like that it's possible to do that, like easy possible.
So and I'm catching you at the right time. So now it's like, hey, this is the rubber
Yeah.
the road for you, right?
Yeah. Like I was starting to get like I was like, man, this ain't working. But it was the holidays. It was Christmas, nothing was, everybody was like on vacation and stuff, and they just called me. Like I don't know, I was starting to think that this wasn't gonna work until it worked. And then now I'm like, okay, I'm very confident in it now.
So with that being said, now since Mel was the one that kind of worked with you a little bit, and this is the first time I've ever really even talked to you, have you signed up with more than just one home warranty company at this point?
Yes, I signed up to 20. I went through a whole list. The website had like 100 of them, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do as many as I can. So
he's hungry.
Yeah.
Did you find that the information you were filling out for him was relatively the same?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same. There's one company that I reached out to that's wanting me to pay for my background check. I thought that was kind of weird because the rest of them just do it for free. This one was like $150 just for a background check.
Sounds like they're in the business of selling background checks. What you could do is maybe ask one of the other home warranties to send you a copy because you want to verify it for accuracy, and then send it to them.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, Mel? You're like, damn, that's a good idea.
What warranty was that? I think I just got one too that asked for that.
I would have to look on my phone.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I
think it was like AHS or something like that, or
yeah, they just came back with some new nonsense.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
So anyway, so we're rolling. We're finally we generated some revenue today.
Yes. Yeah.
And imagine, is the weather mild there? Because I know I just talked to a gentleman before I talked to you, and he said it was like 75, and he's in Kansas, and you guys are kind of in the same parallel.
Yeah, it was around that today, around 75, 74. So I was thinking it was kind of weird that we had like an AC call like in the middle of December, or towards the end of December, because it's usually snowing about this time. So it's kind of weird.
So, hey, real quick here, Bobby.
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience when you reached out to Mel, and what was that like, and what did you learn from him?
Honestly, it was like I was talking to a friend over the phone that was helping me out. It's like I feel like we kind of clicked, like easily. It was just normal conversation, and I felt like I could talk to him like a friend when it came to like getting this off the ground. And he actually, whenever I was talking to him on this call, he's like, yeah, check this and this. And I was like, this is awesome. I have somebody that's actually helping me diagnose, doing a diagnostic on this. I was like,
we're all techs at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the fun part. It's like, we all learn to basically, we're learning, and we're all learning the same field. So it's more enjoyable to talk to other people about it, so.
Well, I don't want to burst your bubble, Bobby, but the hardest part of this whole thing ain't the work.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where we're going to do a little update on this skinny guy over here at the bottom right, Mel, the Black Amish. It's been quite a while since we've even had an update video from you and what Mel's doing. But besides losing all that weight this summer, running your butt off,
Yeah.
what have you been up to, Mel?
Been good. We're hiring. We're looking for new guys. We're continuously training. We got our vehicles in place, so the fleet's up to 3 vehicles now. I actually had a call today from a guy that looked me up from Google. He moved from Tampa Bay up here, and he's looking for some work. HVAC, can do some plumbing. Looked like he did some commercial as well. So that's been good. Marketing's been going great. Been focusing on that. We moved from not being on Google to the top on Google listed in my Lancaster County.
Well, how did you get there? I mean, just
So the reviews, I started off with no reviews. I'm up to 100 reviews in the time we started till now. And just actively going on that, filling out everything on the Google Business Review page that you possibly could. That helps your analytics. Every time a customer would give me a review, I would respond. I like it. So every time you're doing that, you're kind of massaging the algorithm for more hits. And just organically, people go online, HVAC near me. They see your company on the top 3. It helps out a lot. So I mean, I got to move above 1 hour, which is a franchise here. You know, they've been here long enough.
so what did that cost you?
Didn't cost me anything.
Basically, just being diligent, having the right
Exactly.
CRM system in place. And which one are you using in case someone's just seeing you for the first time?
What are you talking about? The Google My Business?
No. How are you? What's making it easy for you to access the ability to get reviews from the customers? Because I can tell somebody go online and find me and do it, but they'll never do it.
Right. So as far as like how we get the Google reviews, our software, after we're done there with the customer, we hit finish. It sends them an invite to our Google My Business review page, and gives them a chance to review your business. We ask them to do that when we're there as we're finishing up. We found that if we leave, it's less likely to happen. But if you do it at home, and like you said, just massaging it, going in there, doing my due diligence. We take pictures while we're on the job site, and we use that as free marketing. We post pictures of what we're doing. We post pictures on Instagram. We post pictures on TikTok. We post pictures on Facebook. We do ads on it.
What is your TikTok handle?
Winners Heating and Air.
I know we're connected on TikTok.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of videos on there. Now that stuff just it's like organic. And then here's the deal: you can link on your TikTok. You can link and hashtag your business in there, and all these backlinks help say, "Hey, I'm legitimate."
Yep.
That's what we're trying to claim our piece of real estate on the interweb.
Exactly.
So we got to stay active there because it lets Google and everybody else know that we're real and we're not a robot. But I've seen a lot of your videos on there. If you haven't seen them, check them out. What is that one more time?
No, I was also saying exactly. And a lot of our marketing has been coming from right when we're doing a job, just taking a short video of what we're doing. That's been great. Duct cleanings is another one. If you can show the duct cleaning while you're doing it, the effects of it, it's a great visual. It shows kind of what you're doing to the customer.
Hey Mel, how did your summer end up? For summer, I mean, because we're making this video. A lot of you guys might have only seen the first video or several videos with Mel and a couple others. But what's it been like for you up to here, basically?
Yeah, so summer was a lot crazy in the sense of like nonstop, obviously. We had to get new vehicles. We were just running out of one. We got the box truck, it was a 14-footer. That helped tremendously. And then the van, we started using strictly for just service. But the summer was wild for us. It was tough, getting equipment, delays. But we ended it well. I think we ended up with like 300 jobs completed during the summer months, which was very good for us. We're going to try to obviously double that next year, just continue to improve on that. A lot of processes were put in place. We got a lot of headaches, but we simplified them by just making processes and systems. Having everything in a bin on a job, that way there's no question of what you need, what you're going to do on the job, has saved hours and saved so much stress between myself and the technicians. Because we're all on the same page. Everything's in the bin. It's already laid out. You got photos of the job, how it looks, checklist along with that. It's just been going a lot smoother with those processes versus just sending a guy out to do the job and expecting them to do it the way you want it.
Now, take a snapshot of what your business looks like today. Employees and what do you got going on? It ain't just you, right?
Right. So as far as myself, so we, like I said, we grew our fleet, employees wise, myself, another employee, and a helper. We have an interview this Thursday at 9 with a guy I just told you guys about earlier. And that works out for us. He's coming from a union. Hoping that works out and add him on as an installer. He'd be probably a hybrid. I like hybrids in the sense of meaning they can do install service, duct cleanings, PMs. In case one area is lacking, you can switch over.
Yeah, because when you're new, it's kind of hard to schedule one day of full service when you're trying to shoot everything. I mean, eat everything you shoot.
Right.
What do you think the biggest lesson you've learned over the last 6 months? Well, you've been open, 7? I mean, you've been open, but you really hadn't started interacting for about 7 months.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. The biggest lesson? There's been so many of them. I would say at this point in us, I think for us to go further and complete all our goals is systems and processes. So we're all on the same page. Training. If there's issues that are happening, one of the good lessons I learned, it's not the lack of necessarily the employee, but lack of training. So definitely need to train these guys, constantly on what we expect them to do, on how we expect them to do. Just constantly be working. I think the main thing is I got to be flexible and adaptive, and constantly working on improving. No days off. If I'm not in the field, I'm in the office, and if I'm not in the office, I'm in the field. So it's always something to do. And every day I try to do something to touch the business in some shape, way, or form, either marketing, training, recruiting, in some way, touch your business outside of just the field to grow it.
It's just it's polishing it up and just fine tuning all your little things that you can, and it's never going to be perfect, but you're just trying to make like, hey, I know there's a little hiccup here. If I could try and iron that out, it'll make it easier. Now I guess we'll go back to Bobby. Bobby, where are you hoping to be? What if in a perfect world, if there was no obstacles in your way, where would you like to see you in your business in the next 6 months? What do you think? Like if everything aligned perfectly, what do you think that would look like?
So I would. Let's see.
These are pretty big questions.
Yeah, I haven't really thought that far ahead. I was like, for me, it's like I kind of want to make what I was making before, if not more. Which, if it keeps going this way, I'll be making a lot more. But honestly, I'd like to have a couple people under me to do some of the work for me at the same time while I do maybe some service calls and stuff like that. Or I would like to start doing duct cleans and stuff like that. But I honestly haven't really thought about it other than me doing the work, because I'm not really. I need to change my mindset, I guess, as far as being a boss rather than just being a worker. So it's like I still have a lot to learn when it comes to that. And I've actually ordered that book that you've been recommending, the HVAC book. So I'm gonna read it, and hopefully it might help with becoming a business owner.
It helped me quite a bit, and I always recommend it. It's a good starting point for anybody looking to maybe be in business.
Right.
What I found for me is that if you could try and provide the best possible service, you really eliminate a lot of your competition.
Right.
Whether it's how you treat the customer, follow up, your level of professionalism with the HVAC work itself, taking care of the customer's home, not treating it like a construction site. Right. Those are all the things that I insisted on, making sure I had some type of uniform so I present a professional image to the customer, because therefore if I could provide the service, I'm allowed to charge more money because we're in business.
Right.
And right now I think I think 2022 is going to be an exceptional year for exceptional techs, because a lot of people like where you're at, Bobby, and where Mel was at, um, you know, you work at a place and you want to be a good technician, but at some point you realize, hey, there's got to be more to this than just punching in 9 to 5 for somebody else,
Right.
making a living, but you're not really ever getting ahead.
Right.
And I think there's not only a shortage of good technicians, but there's a shortage of good owners, because the older guys are retiring, and nobody's coming up to replace them.
Right.
And there's nobody that I know of that's not charging $10,000, $100,000 a year to take a guy like Bobby, take a guy like Mel, and kind of show them the ropes and tell them that, hey, this is what I think will work if you can do it. I don't think there's enough of that going on.
Right.
I mean, you guys have probably researched all kinds of stuff. What is it that you're seeing out there? We'll start with Mel first. You're there. You go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I sought out advice, and the advice definitely came with a price tag, you know. And when you're first starting off, you don't have that necessarily funds to fund it. So for me, just like Bobby, I try to do it the most organic way. And myself, I learned through imitation. So it was like literally just find someone or something, a book, anything that I could try to imitate and, implement in my strategy. But yeah, if you're looking for it, any type of business coaching or anything outside of that, I paid for business coaching. It's going to cost you.
Right.
And what have you been seeing out there, Bobby? You're probably the one that's been digging into this.
Yeah, it's more like, for me, it's more of the ads and learning about it. And so I used to do like Amazon, like stuff like that, and learn about courses, and watched a lot of the courses, learn about PPC, doing ads, doing Facebook ads, all these different ads, and it never, made as much money as I made today just doing organic. So I mean, I think that the courses are just crap that people just throw out there and say, hey, you're gonna make a lot of money, but it's all a bunch of lies, in my opinion. Like, I feel like I just came to the realization of these courses don't really do very good as far as actually making somebody money.
Well, I think what I find, and I even look on the internet all the time on, if I search on YouTube, how to start an HVAC business.
Right.
The information out there, there's guys that talk about, hey, I'm in business, or there's guys that own businesses doing YouTube videos, but they never tell you, hey, this is the nuts and bolts, or
Right.
This is kind of where you got to go, or this is how you can kind of start. I just haven't never found it. And the feedback that I get about what I do, even though some of my earlier videos were pretty, shot off a GoPro, improper lighting, what I hear is, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the content. The people that are really searching for it get the message.
Right.
And I'll give you, for instance, on my YouTube, channel, I literally made a video back in January 30th, 2020, and it said how to sign up with home warranty work.
Yeah.
And hardly anybody's ever watched it.
Right.
But I literally made a video on like how to do it. And I don't know if just because the video is hard to find, but what I have seen through Mel's work, Elvis's work, Robert's work, Billy's work, and several others, is that we've almost perfected the ability to do this in the last 7 months. And here's the deal, I'm not doing any of that work myself, but Mel was the first guy out of the gate that literally just followed what I said, and he's sitting here today having success. Not only having success, but I know he's helped Robert in Virginia. He's helped several Elvis. He's helped several other people. And when I was too busy to help Bobby because I had other commitments, you and Mel connected, and now you're having success.
Yeah.
What we talk about on this channel, when comes to HVAC and business is the boots on the ground. How do you get this thing up and running?
Right.
I don't think there's a channel out there without subscribing, or
Right.
you want me to coach you or buy this, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the deal. If I had to put a price, I wouldn't even want to put a price on this, because if I did, I probably wouldn't want to do it.
Right.
And I talk about that. I'd like to see Bobby has a young family over there. Mel has a young family over there. If I can share the information that I experienced while I was in business to you guys, and you have success, it's going to change the lives of everybody around you.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of how I live. You know what I mean? It's not just an HVAC thing. I want to be a good person to those around me, because it'll all come back to you.
Right.
And Mel is not only taking the information that he's put into practice, but he's more than willing to share it with you, Bobby. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, he doesn't. He could open up a phone book and probably never hit your name in there
Yeah.
until you connected with me. I mean, realistically,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I think I have here is a little different, better than what's being offered out there.
Yeah.
We've got to find more people that are willing to step up and open good HVAC businesses, because the big guys are coming in and they're buying the big competitors. Guys are retiring, and nobody's the people that are out there, they're lost. There's hundreds of guys like you out there trying to start businesses, and they have nowhere to go. And unless they can write checks for $10, $20, $100,000, they might not be able to make it and change their lives.
Right.
And I think if you dedicate yourself to learning the craft of HVAC, it shouldn't be that hard to take the next step and own your own business.
Right.
What's your opinion on that, Bobby?
So whenever I went on this call, it kind of felt like I was working for somebody else anyway. I mean, if you're gonna go do it, you might as well do it for yourself other than work for another company. I guess, does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You're gonna work either way, and it's gonna be HVAC. So
yeah.
You can live in either way.
Well, I have a feeling that the economy is getting ready to soften up,
Right.
and that was one of the reasons that I sold my business in 2018. Is we had not been in a correction or recession in about 10 years, and typically every 10 years we have one through history if you study history.
Right.
And I didn't want to be in a situation where the credit tightened up, the bank wouldn't loan somebody money to buy my business because we were in a decline. My business was doing this, so I made a strategic decision to pull the pin, because I didn't want to be, basically at that point in my career, I was sitting behind a desk, not in the field, and I'd been there for a couple of years, and I didn't want to get trapped behind that desk for, say, another 5 years.
Right.
I made the money, but a lot of you, I know Mel knows, I'm in the real estate, and there's nothing easier for me stress wise than that.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. So we need to build these businesses so people can take control. I don't think it's, these big companies have been around 34 years. They don't stay around forever. And a prime example, I'm going to be 50 in a month. And every time I turn around, I look at the companies I work for, and they're being bought by hedge funds. They're going out of business.
Right.
It's been like that my whole life. And I've learned that, what is, at the time seems like the greatest opportunity of my life. I look back and go, wow, they didn't make it like, I thought, been in business 100 years, whatever, and they get bought out by a hedge fund that they want to get in the HVAC business. Okay. There's so much room to grow. And if you're a B level, A level HVAC mechanic, and you can install a little bit, and you can run great service and treat the customers nice, you can make a killing.
Right.
And I'm going to prove this by asking Mel this question. Mel?
Yes, sir.
If let's say, looking back at your business, if let's say it was you and a helper, and you weren't trying to grow your company with employees so they could do the work, let's say you were able to physically do all the work and you didn't have to pay nobody, you would have crushed it even harder, right? I mean, you'd have worked yourself to death, but that's realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's as much as you can take. That's a big crazy thing about it. It's a faucet, right? So it's as much as you can physically take. I mean, you see me lose. I lost 35 pounds during the summer, and that was because exactly what you're saying. You can eat as much as you can, realistically, but by myself and a helper. If stuff would ever go bad, I would go to buy myself and a helper, and I would live a good life. Guaranteed.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Take a step back, make sure you're treating all the customers right, doing a fantastic job.
We'd eat breakfast every day with me and my helper every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've had a chance to really get to know Mel, and we always talked about Plan A, B, and C, and if Ren Pavich lost his job tomorrow, and maybe I didn't own a bunch of real estate that was, supplementing my income, I'm going in business and I'm going to follow the same recipe that Mel is following, Bobby's getting on board with. And if I got lazy and didn't want to do the installs, I'll make $100,000 a year just doing repairs.
Chilling.
I mean, I really believe that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Mel knows me and he's seen some of the work I do. I work on real big stuff. So if I can go into somebody's home and change a pressure switch, a gas valve, I could kind of do that with my eyes closed. You know what I mean? It's not. And Mel's gotten to know me too. I like to kid around and have fun. I don't take this stuff that seriously. It is serious, but we can't take ourselves so seriously that we can't not enjoy life every day and find reasons to laugh and stuff like that. I don't. And some people may think 100,000 is a lot of money, and in certain part of the countries it is. Here where I live, it's kind of average. I don't have a big expensive lifestyle, but I'd be happy with 100.
Yeah.
If that's all I could make, and I'd have to probably not work very much, and I'm not really wired that way. I'd probably come out of the gate and crack it again. I don't know. Because you know what? There's so many guys that start a business that are bad technicians. It's not hard to go out there and just do a good job. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of guys start businesses because they get fired and no one wants to hire them because they got a bad reputation. And they're still. I know probably 2 or 3 contractors in my area that I've watched do that, where they start install jobs for people, get paid, not finish it, and then I get called hey, from a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, so and so never came back and finished this. Can you finish it? I'm like, okay, I'll finish it for you. I don't really do that a lot, but I get those calls, and I'm wondering to myself, how do these guys stay in business doing that shit?
Right.
I'm not wired that way, but I mean, I've watched guys do that for years, and it's like, Jesus, how do they stay in business? Because I'd be too worried, taking people's money, or they're taking a deposit on this install so they can buy the rest of the equipment for the other install going. I mean, because they can't get credit because they're behind on their rent for 3 months. I mean, it's crazy. Somehow they're making it. It's been in business 40 years. I don't know how they do it, but
Right.
Anyway, so Mel, if you don't mind, share with us a little personally what you got going on with.
As far as my current situation.
Yeah. And then you know what? If you could tell everybody what you kind of did last week. I know it was Christmas and stuff, but kind of tell us what your workflow looked like.
As far as work on the personal side. So currently I got a couple projects going. I'm in the process of moving out of here. Downsizing. I have a rental property that I currently own. I'm in a large house now, but it's just a small family. It was an investment. It's time to capitalize on current the market, the situation. So I'm looking to do some renovations here, get it up to market standards, starburst out of here, start fresh, start at a point where we don't have so much debt and just can go forward and attack more strategically for myself. So that's a lot, because then the whole time I'm doing that, we're also running the business. We've changed up our strategy. So it's been kind of mild here in Pennsylvania. Normally it'd be cold. It's been like 60, 50. So we had to change up our strategy. We've been doing a lot of water heaters quite a bit. I think out here in the yard here, we got like 8 water heaters, but we've been doing quite a bit of water heaters that have been working out for us, duct cleanings. Right now, I've been running a lot of specials. Ren gave a great idea. Just run specials. Black Friday specials, Christmas specials. I did one today. It was a New Year's Eve special, 40% discount. Got a couple calls off that today. So a lot of where I'm at right now is just kind of tightening up. My guys are in rhythm right now, which is great, meaning they understand we're on the same page. We installed multiple units together. They know how it goes. So it's just adding more pieces to the puzzle at this point for me strategically. I just feel like there's Bobby, and just get used to it. You're always going to have projects going. If it ain't the business, it's this, it's that. Right. And you just adapt and overcome. You attack when you can, and eventually you get it all done.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about where you're heading? I mean,
so for me, as far as the work side of it, it's like I'm more of an installer than I am a service guy, so I still have a lot to learn when it comes to doing service. So that's something that I look forward to learning, is more about it. Let's see. I already forgot the question that you were asking.
Now, where are you looking forward to go as far as in the next year? So maybe some number, like you said, you want to make at least what you make. So let's say 100K next year.
Yeah, that's I'd like to be able to make that. That'd be awesome. I'd like to be able to get get a box truck vehicle, and so I can start doing installs. Right now, I'm in my Mitsubishi Lancer. It's 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer. You can't really carry a unit with that, but I'll have some friends or something that'll lend me a truck to do a couple installs, and then I can start looking into getting a box truck. And I'm looking at it one step at a time. It's I know I need a truck to start doing more installs, and my wife she helps me out, I guess, with the future investments of what we're gonna do next.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to start where you're at. And I was just talking to, I believe it was Anthony down in Kansas, Tony. And necessity is the mother of invention. And unless you're in the right frame of mind and you've had a decade of planning and working and having all the financing in place, sometimes you got to go with where you're at. Right. And it reminds me of that Saving Private Ryan movie where the one actor is in a fight with the guy and he's getting ready. What happens? He ends up getting killed and gets stabbed. But he's shooting the gun, and then eventually his gun jams and he throws the gun at him, and then he throws the canteen at the guy. And sometimes in business, that's what it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And for you, because Bobby says he's running service in a Lancer.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you. I'm thinking I respect the hustle. Because a lot of guys in your position say, "Oh, I can't run service because I don't have a van. I can't run service because I can't do this."
Right.
You're trying to find a way to put the food on the table with the skills you have and the tools you have. Right. And if you focus on that, in my opinion, all that other shit will take care of itself.
Right.
And I've watched Mel, and he's proved it.
Exactly.
Because within 2 weeks of talking to him, he bought another van. Yeah. And if we were to rewind that tape, and I asked him today, Mel, do you think this is going to I'm going to be like, hey, Mel, I'm going to tell you something. And if I'd have known the answer and said in 2 weeks you're going to have enough business and have made enough money to buy a van, he'd have probably told me I was crazy.
Right.
I would have. Because I didn't have the funds at the time. I mean, even the box trucks, that was investment. I didn't have the funds.
But the money's made up here, guys. It's not, you got to have this to make that. you've already got to think. This is what creates the money, in my opinion. Um,
Right.
your thoughts and actions. So you have to like, okay, if I continue to keep trying to do the best I can with what I've got, eventually all that other stuff, in my opinion, takes care of itself. And it's not only Mel, but there's a gentleman up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Mel knows him and knows a little bit about his story, Elvis. I watched a guy talk to him on a Thursday, turn his shop van in to his employer to probably having the biggest start out of the gate following some of this information that we're sharing back and forth, to where I know like a couple weeks ago he just bought a $12,000 duct cleaning machine, paid for it. He's done $72,000 jobs. I mean, this guy's working out of his townhome.
Wow.
Mel's working out of his house. I'm not sure where Bobby's working at. No, I started where I'm recording this video today. I was telling you guys before I hit the record button. I started my business on a laptop, a folding card table, and a folding chair. And I had an internet connection to my laptop. So, and I was working out of my garage with a $5,000 van. That's how I started. So, remember where you're at, because one day this is going to be the greatest story of your life. And when the employee comes to you and say, well, I can't do this because of that, they're bullshitting you because you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just money talks and bullshit walks, guys. One of the things I've always learned is a guy has a tongue in his mouth and a tongue in his boot. And I always listen to the one in his boot, because his boot's never going to lie. His mouth will.
Right.
You know what I mean? People's actions are much different than what they talk a lot of times. And I respect both of you for Mel, for how far you've come in the last 7-8 months, and Bobby on the journey you're getting ready to take. And if there's someone that's stopping by and watching this video for the first time, what advice would you give them today, Mel?
Trust the process. I know that sounds cliche.
Yeah.
Trust the process, and give it a try. Don't be so quick to just quit. Give it a try. Follow the steps. It's already proven, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you're truly serious about it, just trust the process. Watch the videos, do your due diligence, write it down, and get to work. For me, I think my best asset for me is I'm more on the work side. I don't mind the work. So if someone can just tell me, well, it's simple. The next part is doing. I just try to stick more to that side of the equation, the doing portion. It's work.
Thank you. And then Bobby, I know you're in a little different spot because you kind of just, you just got a taste of the Kool-Aid, but what would you say your experience has been just from the first email to where you're at today? What was that process like? If you could maybe share a little bit of that, because there's probably someone that's going to watch this later. They're not sure.
Yeah.
How, they don't know if you're a paid actor and Mel's a paid. I mean, we're not. This ain't that, guys. But
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was easy. I just emailed you and you sent me a message, and you sent me Mel's phone number because, like you said, you were out, for the holidays doing some fishing and spending time with family, and got a hold of Mel, and he basically walked me through it. I mean, I just doing it, it's just finding the information that you need and doing it, seeing that it works kind of makes you like want to do it over and over again. It's like trying to look for that golden nugget. Once you find it, just keep doing it.
Well, and I think that's a similar story I hear from other guys. It's like once someone kind of points them in the right direction and they kind of say, hey, these are some of the actions you need to take. Either, and this is my experience too, either some people are going to do it or some people won't.
Right.
And they weed themselves out of the situation. There's nothing I've even got to do. They just, they ghost or whatever, and whatever, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
I'm where I'm at. But, if someone wants to reach out to me, they can email me in the description.
Right.
We're going to continue to keep making some of these contents, recordings. So we can let guys in Bobby's situation and Mel's situation realize that they're not alone.
Right.
How did it make you feel when you were able to reach out to Mel? I mean,
I was like, I guess for me, it's like, really, this is somebody's actually willing to help. It's hard to find somebody who's actually willing to help, without wanting anything in return. So it was very refreshing. Like,
it's kind of a strange feeling in
Yeah.
2021, right?
yeah,
Teamwork.
yeah.
I think one of a good point to that is like if you've heard this, I like this quote: "If you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go by yourself."
Right.
You know, it's kind of that principle too. But teamwork, like Bobby, I've been there. Bobby Ren's been there before I was there, and I think anytime you can get help to figure something out and not have to rubbish through the nonsense and the trash to figure it out,
Right.
it makes the process a little bit more streamlined for you.
Right.
And to me, it's like if you've been in a spot, why wouldn't you want to share that to help somebody else to just not have to go through that?
Right.
Yeah, share the pain, right?
It's like, oh, I'm gonna let this guy go through it just to go through it. To me, that don't- it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Well, I had to. Like, all right.
Hey, Mel, if you could think of one thing over the last 7 months that was like the worst thing that's happened to you, and then we're gonna end this.
Oh man.
What is the number one thing where it's like either a screwed up situation or
I'll give you two. One, coming back after the summer, had a new helper. We're working out of my house. I lift the garage up. He's laid out, pass out in my garage with my dog, my like puppy dog, laid out. The garage door goes up. He's laid out. It was hot, 90, and I was just. That was the last payday, and that was the end of that. That was pretty tough in the summer, and I was saying. I don't know. Sometimes going back and forth on the phone can be a nuisance. What's another good one?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. There's been so many of them. Ren, do you remember any on top? There's been some good ones.
yeah, just you know, sometimes dealing with these home warranty companies and
Yeah.
it if anybody thinks it's easy, it's not. It can be a very challenging process. It's like the salmon trying to swim up the river sometimes. Um, but I think if you persevere and you have the discipline, you can make it through it and find success. And just when you think everything's going good, they're going to throw curveballs at you. I would say the thing that I think of the most is some of the curveballs you've dealt with on the home warranty companies. And we're not going to name specifics if you would, because we don't really want to put any of that bad press out there. If you guys want to know the specifics on the companies, we'll just email me and we can talk about it if you're really that serious. But it seems like some of these home warranties have played games with you, Mel, and I've kind of watched you.
Yeah. So I mean, so there's always the getting paid. You're expected to get paid here in a couple of days, and it's a month. It's a month later.
Oh wow.
And then you got to come up with tactics. In the summer, I had to come up with some pretty creative tactics where it's like I have no leverage. They have the leverage. How do I get leverage back? Okay, if I'm on hold, for instance, if we weren't getting paid, we'd have to put them on hold. You're on hold until we get paid. All this equipment in the garage is not moving. Once we're leveled up, then we can get moving. So it was like there was always some speculations or stipulations you had to put into it. Otherwise you're left to your own demise. You might be waiting 3 months, 2 months to get paid. Feeling like you might have to get a loan to be able to pay your bills and stuff. So that's always tough when you've already done the service, you rendered the service, yet you're waiting on payment for that service for longer than 2-week period. I would say it's kind of tough.
Quick question. This is something I just thought about. How much debt are you running right now? I know we're 7 months in. You got to be, borrowed to the hilt, right? To do this.
Debt? No debt. Really? No debt.
Good.
I don't have.
You're not borrowing money to do this.
No, it paid for itself. It honestly did. You know what I mean? The box truck paid for itself. The van paid for itself. Of course, I had to go do the work, but it paid for itself. As you do the work and you continue to do the work and continue to build the machine, it does literally pay for itself.
And any inspiring thoughts? Looking back on what you know, Mel. I know Bobby's just getting started, but now that you kind of know what's going on, do you think you could repeat it? And would it be that hard?
I'm so excited for this next year. I think I can be where I need to be in 3 years, not even 10 years, 3 years. I'm super excited. I exceeded way beyond what I would even thought of putting on as a number, and it's just simply like, watch and repeat. I know how many jobs I've done. If I want to triple, double it, you just do the math. You know how many jobs you have to do. So it's just sitting out with a plan, laying it out, and then executing it. I'm super excited. Looking forward to building my team and killing it. Shoot for 800 jobs next year. That's the goal. We did 400. I want to do 800 next year, double it, and just continue to gain ground and momentum like we have. And it's working. Like I said, we were not even on Google's listing. We're number one. My distributors didn't know me. I'm top 10 on their list. The banks never knew me. I get called from the bank all the time now. Do you need a loan? Do you need credit? What can we do for you? And it's just like, as you do the work and you start getting better, everyone else around you starts to notice it because you start getting different treatment, which I'm not complaining about. I love it.
Right.
The treatment's a lot better. So
Yeah.
it makes me want to get out there and dang, if this is it, if I keep doing it more and more, how much better is this treatment going to get?
Right.
So I'm